For this demo, the business use case for the discrete manufacturing organization is chosen. Please note, all the transaction executed will be for SS20, Austin, US, in dollars. But the purchase order and sales order would be created in Singapore dollars. This demo will be for cross-currency transaction between Singapore dollars and US dollars. In this demo, the integration test execution, the playwright test execution for cross-currency transactions of discrete manufacturing organization, that is SS20 and SGD conversion to USD, and end-to-end runner, which run the playwright test using API calls and summarize the aggregate financial in a web application will be demoed. First, the integration postman tests are executed. These are execution details. Here, all the tests are executed in the test environment. Here, all the modules are tested comprehensively.
The last one is the high-level summary of the test execution.
This is the Newman report.
The first is the overall summary. Next is the file information, then collection description, and followed by timing and data.
This is the request tab, which details the actual request and response details. The test has the request information, request header, response body, and test information.
These are the various tests which were executed.
Now the playwright test execution will begin. Here the cross-currency transaction in SGD to USD will be demoed.
Developed ERP applications is launched in the test environment. The project user logs into the application.
The project code data is entered. The project type is selected as CapEx. The company code is selected. The currency is selected. The manager data is entered. The cost enter is selected. The profit center is selected. The planned cost data is entered. The planned revenue data is entered. The description of the project is entered. The project is created by clicking the Save button. The project is created now and its details are displayed. Now the workbench is being created or assigned to the newly created project. The workbench code is entered. The description is entered. The cost center data is entered. Responsible person data is entered. The planned cost and planned revenue data are entered. The account receivable and account payable checkboxed are checked. The Add button is clicked.
Now the created project is being searched and project WBS is released. The created project is released.
Now the O2C user logs into the application. The user searches for the material and ensure the material's quantity necessary for the sales order are in stock. He searches for the second material and ensures the material quantity is also have sufficient stock.
Now the user create a new sales order.
The user selects the customer. The material 1 is added and the quantity is updated.
The material 2 is added to the sales order and quantity is updated.
Now, the Save button is clicked.
The newly created sales details are displayed. These are the newly created sales orders commitment journal entry details. Now, the P2P user logs into the application. In the material module, the user searches for the material and note the current material's quantity details. The user searches for the second material and note the current material's quantity details. The user searches for the third material and note the current material's quantity details. The user creates a new purchase order. He selects the supplier in the General Information tab. The user selects the purchasing group as Austin and currency as SGD. In the Items tab, the material item 1 is being added and material quantity is entered. The second material item is being added and material quantity is entered. The third material item is being added and material quantity is entered.
In the Delivery and Invoice tab, the delivery address is added.
In the Nodes tab, the node summary is added. In the Approvals tab, Approval Required is displayed, and Submit for Approval button is clicked. The newly created purchase order details are displayed.
The Director of Supply Chain logs into the application.
The approver user click the notification and view the purchase order which requires approval and approves the purchase order.
The SCM user logs into the application.
The user creates new inbound order. The details such as delivery number, PO number, vendor name, vendor plant and warehouse details are entered and selected respectively. In the line section, the material 1 details and quantity are entered. The material 2 details and quantity are entered. The material 3 details and quantity are entered.
Now the inbound delivery is saved, and the created inbound delivery details are displayed.
The newly created inbound delivery is marked as received and then placed on rack button is clicked. The journal entry for good receipts is created and its details are displayed. In the material module, the user searches for the material and verifies whether the quantity is increased. The user searches for the second material and verifies whether the quantity is increased. The user searches for the third material and verifies whether the quantity is increased. The P2P user logs into the application. The user clicks on notification bell icon and confirms that the purchase order is approved. The user searches for the purchase order and confirms that the order is received. Now the journal entry for the good receipt is opened and its details are displayed.
Navigation takes place. The 2 new AP invoice and an invoice is created.
The AP number is entered. The purchase order number is entered. The tax is selected. The AP invoice is posted. The journal entry for the posted AP invoice is displayed. For the payment, a stub has been created and the AP invoice payment is performed.
The AP payment journal entry is displayed.
The finance master data user logs in.
A new bank statement is being created.
The statement number, house bank details, currency, the opening and closing balance data are entered and Save button is clicked. The details of the newly created bank statement details are displayed.
Now, the P2P user logs into the application.
In the bank to cash reconciliation module, the Generate from GE button is clicked. The reconciled AP payment journal entry detail is displayed. Now, the manufacturing user logs into the application. A new production order is being created. The production order number, material, plant, work center, quantity, plan data are entered and the Save button is clicked. The newly created production order details are displayed. The production order is opened and the Release button is clicked. The journal entry for the production good issue is displayed.
The Start button is clicked and production order is in progress status of the production.
The Confirm button is clicked. The journal entry for the production confirmation is displayed. A new production order is being created. The production order number, material, plant, work center, quantity, plan data are entered and the Save button is clicked. The newly created production order details are displayed. The production order is opened and the Release button is clicked.
The Start button is clicked and production order is in progress status of the production.
The Confirm button is clicked. Now the O2C user logs in into the application. The sales order is searched and its status is delivered. These are the newly created sales orders commitment journal entry details.
The Delivery button is clicked. The PGI COGS journal entry is created, and these are details of the PGI COGS journal entry. The SCM user logs into the application.
New outbound delivery order is being created. The delivery number, customer name, customer ID, project code, WBS UUID, the materials details are entered. Outbound delivery details are displayed. In the outbound delivery, first pick is clicked. In the outbound delivery, next pack is clicked. In the outbound delivery, next ship is clicked. Here, the tracking number and actual ship data are updated or newly created. And finally, the POD is clicked and the POD timestamp gets updated. A new freight order is created. The freight order number, carrier, company code, currency, and freight cost. Project code and WBS UUID are entered and Save button is clicked.
Created freight order details are displayed.
The Freight AP invoice journal entry is created and its details are displayed. Now the O2C user logs in into the application. A new AR invoice is being created.
The AR invoice number, sales order number, tax code are entered and the post invoice is clicked.
Navigation takes place to the AR invoice journal entry and its details are displayed. A payment stub is in place and the Receive button is clicked for AR receipt generation. The AR receipt journal is displayed with all its data. The Finance Master Data user logs in.
A new bank statement is being created.
The statement number, house bank details, currency, the opening and closing balance data are entered and Save button is clicked. The details of the newly created bank statement details are displayed. Now the O2C user logs in into the application.
The AR and freight invoices are reconciled and the AR receipt journal details are displayed. Now the freight journal entry is clicked and its details are displayed.
The project user logs into the application. In the already created project WBS, the AP and AR invoices are assigned. The created AP invoice is selected and assigned to the project. The previously created AR invoice is selected and assigned to the project. The fixed assets user logs into the application. A new fixed assets is created. The asset number, description, asset class, company code, currency, cost center, profit center, project number, location, serial number, acquisition value, salvage value are entered and the Save button is clicked. Created fixed assets details are displayed.
The created fixed asset is searched and Edit button is clicked.
The fixed assets acquisition journal entry is clicked and its details are displayed. The depreciation button is clicked and its calculated value is displayed. Now the depreciation journal entry is clicked and its details are displayed. The project user logs into the application. The project user searches the project, perform TICO and close of the WBS. Then in project performs the TICO and closes the project. After the project is closed, the journal entry is generated. The GL user logs into the application. The project closure journal entry is generated and it is clicked and its details are displayed.
Inventory updates were completed successfully. 3 items were received through procurement activities. The stock of the variable frequency drive increased by 10 units. The stock of the AC motor increased by 20 units. The stock of the infrared sensor increased by 150 units. 2 finished products were issued to fulfill a customer sales order. 1 automated guided vehicle unit was shipped. 1 Evo CB25 unit was also shipped. Overall, inventory was replenished for incoming materials, and customer orders were fulfilled successfully.
These are the inbound delivery details. These are the outbound. This is the login page of end-to-end runner application. Here all the tests are executed in the test environment. This is the E2E Runner Playwright API test web interface. Here the end-to-end tests are automated through the APIs, and in the dashboard the financial aggregate summary is displayed in the tiles. These are the various test steps present. The execution of E2E API test has begun and its details are displayed. To confirm these are aggregate financial report, let me navigate to the test environment. Here the P&L net current profit tallies with the dashboard P&L net profit after tile. This concludes this demo. In this demo, the Postman integration test execution, the Playwright cross-currency test execution of SS20 between SGD and USD, and the E2E runner test execution, the dashboard tile data is validated with the application data in the test environment. In the next demo, the CI or CD, financial reports analytics, and the deployed application status in the three environments such as DUV, test, and RPOD would be demoed. Thanks for your time and thanks for watching.